This is That Guy Jigs Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, and review Amazon, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Check us out. And don't forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig. But this episode's about closeout. This episode is about shutting the door and moving on to the next round. See, in the NBA, we have 3 games that are all in closeout situations. On Sunday, we have 2 Game 7s, and tonight, on Saturday, we have a Game 6 in Dallas, Texas that could put the Dallas Mavericks back into the Western Conference Finals. The last time the Mavericks and the Thunder played on Wednesday, the Mavericks got the win. The Mavericks got the win in OKC. Now they have a chance to close it out at home in front of their home crowd, where they're pretty good. See, to get to these closeout games is no easy task. It's no easy feat. It may look easy. It may look easy for Minnesota when they beat the dog shit out of the Denver Nuggets by 45 points. It may look easy for the Dallas Mavericks to come back down 31 points against the Clippers. It may look easy for the Oklahoma City Thunder to sweep the Pelicans, but these are not easy tasks. These are not easy tasks, folks. These are daunting tasks because we're talking about the best in the world. The NBA is a world sport because they have players from all around the globe. Each team has players that are not from America. So this is truly the best of the best, sir, with honors. No disrespect to the NFL. They too are the best of the best, sir, with honors. But the global impact of basketball and the influx of talent that it brings, you see what I'm saying? So when we look at the playoff game today, the closeout game, the Mavericks versus the Thunder, in Dallas, Kyrie Irving, 13-0 in closeout games, never lost a closeout game. He's only done one thing, and that's close them out. He's had a shaky series. Very shaky series. Has distributed the ball well. And maybe that's what you need to play along to Luka Doncic. Because Luka is so ball dominant. He's so ball dominant. He always has the ball. The offense runs through him. How many 30-point triple-doubles have we seen from Luka? I think he just got his third one in the playoffs, but regular season included is what I'm speaking. Luka Doncic is a stat-stuffing machine. But while being a stat-stuffing machine, that requires the ball being in your hands a little bit more. And that's the difference I see between the Luka-LeBron comparison. Because when you look at the Luka-LeBron and how they're both the center point of the offense of the team. LeBron doesn't take as many shots as Luka. That's the difference. LeBron spreads the love amongst his teammates, where Luka just takes the shots. And what we're seeing with this year's Dallas Mavericks team is Kyrie Irving is just that point guard that's just elite. That's an elite handled point guard who's running the offense through the superstar, which is Luka Doncic. That's why I believe it's kind of going like that versus OKC. Now, in another series, we could see Kyrie go for 25, 30 points a game because he has that capabilities. But for this series, I think it's more important for the offense to be ran. For someone to facilitate, get everybody set up, because Luka can't do it all. And that's where in the past you could see the Dallas Mavericks bogging down, is because Luka's trying to do it all. Luka's tired. Luka comes out. There's no one to keep the offense going. Now when Luka goes out, Kyrie not only keeps the offense going, but then he can also give you a scoring option. That's why this Dallas Mavericks team is very dangerous. That's why you see a successful P.J. Washington, a successful Jones. You see a successful Daniel Gafford. Those 3 guys around these 2 superstars have all shown and really hit their ceilings. Like P.J. Washington is practically averaging a double-double in this series. P.J. Washington is going to be a household name if he keeps it up because of how he is playing in this series. And this is what has been needed in Dallas. This has been what has been needed in Dallas. They have needed someone to be able to take shots, make shots. P.J. Washington's last 3 games, 10-10, 12-21, And he had a 6-27 game. And I'll throw you one more. He had 11-29 another game. This is a guy who is doing more because he's being put in the best opportunities of his career. Kyrie Irving is setting the table at a very, very impressive rate in an impressive way. The way he is fine dining his teammates, dishing the rock, it's beautiful. But you also know that Kyrie at any moment can go for 25 points. He can go for 15 points in a quarter. He can get hot. And that's probably what we'll see tonight. This game for OKC, it's always been and always will be who can come through for Shai. We know Shai's going to go for 30. We know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to go for 30. We know this. But who's going to come in with that consistent 20? Who's going to come in with 15? Who's going to come in with 18? Who's going to come in? Who can get me double digits? Because I've said this and I'll keep saying this from the mountaintops. The reason why OKC, to me, is not a contender this year is because they have two players in their starting lineup. I know last game they did start Isaiah Joe. So now you have one player. But usually they have two guys in their starting lineup that I don't have to worry about scoring. I can let shoot. So if you're playing the Thunder, if you have a wing defender, you don't have to you can put your best wing defender on Shai. You can put your superstars on offense on these two guys that don't do much on offense. I'm talking about Lou Dort and Josh Giddey. Those two right there are an offensive liability. And in a game that is offensive oriented, you can't have that. You cannot have that, not one bit. There is not one team left in the NBA playoffs that has a offensive liability like the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have the biggest offensive liabilities in the playoffs remaining. What is that called? An outlier. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just does not belong. Can you tell me? It's the Thunder. You cannot do that. Now, people, you can look at me all you want and say, well, Denver has Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's went for 25 points multiple times this playoff. He's a former lottery pick. Put some respect on that guy's name. Hey, listen, ask Minnesota about Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's the reason why the Denver Nuggets are still playing basketball right now. We will never have a game where Josh Giddey or Lou Dort is the reason why the Thunder are still playing basketball. You hear me and you hear me now. I will never get on this podcast and say, shout out to Josh Giddey for scoring 25 points and leading the Thunder to a victory. I will never be on this podcast and say, shout out to Lou Dort for showing 25 points and leading the Thunder to victory. I'll be on here saying, now Lou Dort gave great defensive effort. Lou Dort gave great defensive mindset, great defensive rebounding. Lou Dort played great on the defensive end. That's what you will hear me say. This isn't hating, this is facts. The fact of the matter is, I believe that the Thunder have a chance. The Thunder do indeed have a chance. They have a better than a shooter's chance. They have better than, it's about 50-50, you ask me. You ask me honest belief, if I'm betting on the Thunder and Mavs game above player props. Player props, I'm taking Shai Gilgeous, 30 points. Kyrie Irving, 8 assists. Daniel Gafford, 10 points. Those are just 3 of them. Follow the Instagram for some more. That guy Jig on Instagram. But for this Thunder and Mavs game, the spread, we're taking points, folks. Because to me, this is a 50-50 game. Because if Luka or Kyrie come out sluggish, this Thunder team is not going to come out sluggish. This Thunder team is going to come out and try to punch them right in the mouth so that way they can get a Game 7 back, I believe, on Monday night in OKC. That's what I believe is going to try to happen. But I believe that Kyrie's 13-0 record in these closeout games will come to fruition. Or it will come in the front seat. It's the driver. This is a different Kyrie. This is closeout Kyrie. This isn't Ramadan Kyrie. This is closeout Kyrie. He's never lost in a closeout game. And that is the difference for me. I have the Dallas Mavericks advancing to the Western Conference Finals. Home game. I've told you guys before, especially before the playoffs started. Dallas is a hot team right now. If Luka Doncic was a little bit more healthy, and that's why that's why this is also scary for the Thunder. This game, the last game was Wednesday. Saturday, folks. Thursday, Friday, you get 2 days of rest. But with OKC and Dallas being so close, you get a little bit more. You get a little bit more. Because in all actuality, they could have stayed in Dallas the extra day. They could have stayed, they could have stayed in Oklahoma City and just left right after the game. And been in the same day. So I got the Mavericks closing out the series with Oklahoma City today. Next game, the Knicks and the Pacers. Knicks and Pacers game 7 tomorrow. Knicks and Pacers game 7 tomorrow. Now, the last time there was a game 7 between these two storied franchises, the Pacers walked away with the victory. But I'm here to tell you guys a little something. Home teams are 112-37 in game 7 playoff at home. I'm going to say that again. They're 112-37 in game 7 playoff games at home. The home team is 112-37. I expect the Knicks to win. But if Josh Hart is banged up, this is going to get very interesting for them. Josh Hart is the glue. Josh Hart is the engine. He's the guy that rebounds, assists. He can score, a stat sheet stuffer. The difference between him and Luka is, one, he's not even in Luka's category. Let's just get that understood. He's a stat sheet stuffer that doesn't require the ball that much. He's a stat sheet stuffer that averages 10 points a game. He's just a guy that gives you high effort. That's it. High effort, high motor, high engine. He's going to keep going. He's going to, just keep going. He's had a long, enduring playoff. He has not came out the game very much. He's played about 44, 42 minutes per game. 41 probably is average. He's played pretty much damn near the whole game. If you know Tom Thibodeau, this is how he runs. This is how he runs, man. His starters play. If you are a starter for Tom Thibodeau, especially in the playoffs, you are going to play. If you are a starter in the regular season, you are going to play. And you're going to play defense and you're going to play hard. The Tom Thibodeau is one of those coaches you may not like, but you got to respect. You may not like Tom Thibodeau, but you got to respect the man for doing a phenomenal job. He's a good coach. He's a solid coach. How many years have people been begging for his job in New York? I don't think they're going to be begging anymore. I think Tom Thibodeau heard the squeaky wheels. He gave them some oil, and now they are one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not saying that they are going to like their opponent. Boston's already there, but like I've said before, I believe Boston will lose before they get to the finals because of how they play basketball. Boston hasn't truly played a healthy team. Boston hasn't played a healthy team yet, and sometimes in the playoffs, that's what you need. All right? Sometimes in the playoffs, you just need a little luck. Golden State got that a lot, and guess what? They got chips out of it. So sometimes you need teams to be hurt. Sometimes that's just how they can't help it. They can only win. But if the Knicks do win, you wonder how healthy they're going to be to stand a chance against the Boston Celtics. I know. I chose the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm standing on that ship. I'm not jumping off, and I'm not firing up the smoker to eat crow. What I'm doing is I'm setting the stage for the New York Knicks to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. The home team wins. But this home team is banged up. I understand. I get it. But I still believe in Dante DiVincenzo. I still believe in Jalen Brunson. Miles McBride's came through. Isaiah Hardenstein has earned himself a little extra money. Alec Burke, veteran. He can get you 12. He can get you 15 if he heats up. But, you'd be a fool to not look at the roster before you put any type of fundage behind the New York Knicks. You got to know who's playing. You got to know what's going on. I expect Josh Hart to play. I expect Josh Hart to play max minutes. That guy is a NBA Iron Man. So he's going to eat his Mike and Ikes. He's going to get right. He'll be in the game. But for the Pacers, this game is going to come out of run. Can you run? Can you get traction and can you run? Because if you can, you should be able to tire this team out, especially if Josh Hart does not play. If Josh Hart does not play for whatever reason, or if he's banged up, the Pacers run at such a frantic pace, and they have depth. I think they might have the best bench in the NBA right now. As far as the playoff teams, you look at the Pacers bench and what it's able to do. It's phenomenal, man. It's actually an extra gear. It's an extra gear on that race car that they have because when they put that bench in, that bench only knows one speed. Go, go, go. TJ McConnell knows one speed. Go, go, go. He's getting double-doubles off the bench. You don't get double-doubles off the bench unless you're moving, folks. You're initiating the offense. You're not letting the defense get set up, and you're just going. This game depends on two players and two players only for the Pacers. It depends on Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam. If Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner can both be big down low, where the New York Knicks have no size, they have no depth, this game could get ugly. I would look for the Pacers to pound the ball down low. Tyrese Halliburton is going to be pounding the ball down low. They have no choice. You have Pascal Siakam and Isaiah Hartenstein probably going to go head to head. You have Miles Turner and who? Mitchell Robinson's in and out of the lineup because he's injured. Precious Achiuwa cannot guard either one of these fellas. Listen, if you're the Pacers, you have to go down low, get them in foul trouble, get them playing bench players, and then start running. Make them collapse on you and then start kicking it out to your wings for the threes. I know that's not what they're going to do because that's not how the Pacers play ball. But if Rick Carlisle called me and said, hey, Jig, I need you to coach tonight, that's what I'm doing. I'm switching it up a little bit. I'm throwing a curveball in there or a changeup. Those are MLB pitches for you. But what I'm telling you, this Game 7 is going to be a very good Game 7. The Pacers have it. The Pacers have what it takes. They made that trade midseason. We can look back to that trade for Pascal Siakam and say that was a successful trade. Anytime that a trade can win you a game, can win you a playoff series, can get you further in the playoffs than you've been in a very long time, that was a successful trade. And no one can argue that it's not. Because look at the results. And this is just year one. This is just 6 months in. Imagine when Tyrese and Pascal get a whole offseason next season. Like, I hate to look forward to next season, but you gotta have an erection. You gotta be erect just thinking about it. You gotta kind of get a bottle of cold water and start smacking it down when you think about the Pacers as far as the two-man game of Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. As far as the pick and pop game with Pascal Siakam and with Miles Turner popping out to the three-point line or dropping down low for a drop down. This team has a very good nucleus. Now, if they can get some better players around them, if they can get better shooters around them, keep in mind Bruce Brown's been hurt. If they can get him back healthy, this is going to be a very, very interesting squad. They have a chance to do something in the Eastern Conference every year because as much as we like to hype up the East, as much as we like to look at the East is still the East. I mean, and it's only going to get weaker with how this is supposed to be a very active offseason. I guarantee you a lot of these teams from the West start poaching some of these players from the East, and some of these players from the East want to go to the West. It's just that simple. We got Kevin Durant going to be on the move. We got Jimmy Butler might be on the move. Tyler Hero might be on the move. Karl Anthony Towns might be on the move. You know, Jaylen Brown to Jason Tatum. Are one of them going to be on the move if they don't win? Kristaps Porzingis, Julius Randle, is he going to be on the move? These are questions that need answers. I mean, the Magic are supposedly going to get better, but we don't know that for sure. We don't know if Klay Thompson's going to leave with the Warriors. I wouldn't. If I was Klay Thompson, I'd just take less money. Just take less money, stay in Golden State. No one wants to go down there in Orlando. No offense. Beautiful weather. Probably got some nice beaches. But at the end of the day, what are we talking about? Klay Thompson is the guy that flexes championship rings in people's faces. You think he wants to sit around with the Magic and make a fuck ton of money? He has money. It's about winning. It's about playing with the guy you got drafted with. You won championships with. You built this shit brick by brick. And you be damned if you let somebody else come in because you can't take less bread. You can take less bread. You're not a max player anymore, Clay, and that's the truth. And he has admitted it to himself and to the public. So it's not like we can sit here and act like I'm just speaking in hyperbole. This is all actual factage that could happen. He could stay in Golden State. So, I mean, like I said, Donovan Mitchell is another one. He's probably going to leave Cleveland. He's sources say, ESPN says that Donovan Mitchell grew frustrated with the immaturity on the Cavaliers team. I don't know if this is true, but guess what? Sometimes where there's smoke, there's a fire. Just sometimes. So what I'm saying is the East is open. It's wide open. The business is open and business is booming. If you want to go, listen, there's always room to compete for teams in the East. You're never really far out of it is what I'm saying. In the Western Conference, yes, you can be far out of it because some of these teams are just juggernauts. And some of these teams are half-nots. I mean, when you have a lottery system that I think it's 6 years straight, the worst team in the NBA has not got the number one pick. This is why. This is why teams take so long to rebuild in the NBA. Is because of the fucking lottery system. It is terrible. But when you look at the Eastern Conference, it's wide open. So the Pacers have they have pissed on their tree. And now they just need their tree to grow. The Knicks have pissed on their tree. They just need their tree to grow. The Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, we know about them. We know about their trees. Their trees have been there. Their trees have been up. There's that midnight train to Georgia. But their trees are up. Sunday, the last Game 7. The midnight train to Georgia. Sunday, Game 7, Timberwolves and Nuggets. This is going to be a game of all games. Timberwolves just beat the Nuggets by 45 points. If you looked at that game, you saw Nikola Jokic stand for 12 minutes and look straight at the Timberwolves bench. Very admirable, but mistaken. That's what I think he said. Once again, the home teams are 112 and 37 in Game 7 playoff games. This is a Game 7. Listen, we're not going to sit here and fiddle fart around. We're not going to talk about, the Timberwolves have great defense. I'm here to tell you the Timberwolves defense is not that good. The Denver Nuggets are still getting open shots. They're still being able to do what they want to do. They're just missing shots. This game comes down to one thing and one thing only. Jamal Murray. That's it. In the losses, Jamal Murray is averaging 11 points per game. In the wins, he's averaging 20. That's all I got to say. It comes down to Jamal Murray. I know he's a little banged up, but at this point in time, no one cares, Jamal. Deliver the baby. No one wants to hear about the labor. Just deliver the damn baby. That's what it's about. Jokic is going to be primed and ready. Aaron Gordon is going to be primed and ready. Mike Malone is going to be primed and ready. Denver Ball Arena is going to be primed and ready. We just need the blue arrow, Jamal Murray, to walk into the damn arena. Shout out to Anthony Edwards because this young man, this guy has gotten max ability from some players that probably won't be on that team next year if they don't win a championship. If they lose tonight or tomorrow night, if they lose Sunday night, I think Karl Anthony Towns will be gone. I think a couple other players will be gone because I think if they lose this series after being up 2-1, after being up 2-1 or 2-0, sorry, after being up 2-0. And they lose this series, I think they go out and get Kevin Durant. You heard it here first from that guy, Jig. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. But I like this game. I think this is going to probably be the second best game. I think the first best game is going to be that Thunder Mavs series. I think that game is just going to be two teams that just won't quit. I think that game is going to be very good tonight. This Nuggets and T-Wolves game tomorrow night is, like I said, there's nothing. Michael Porter Jr. could turn it up a little bit. You know, he could turn it up for sure, 100%. But this game comes down to Jamal Murray, and that's why I just got to keep it short at that because that's the truth, and that's what it's about. Sometimes the truth is short, folks. Sometimes the truth is Gary Coleman. That's okay because it's the truth. And this game is nothing but that. It comes down to Jamal Murray. Hey, does Jamal Murray show up on Sunday? Did he show up to work or not? I know he's, like I said, I know he's hurt. I know he's hurt. But if we're gambling, remember, 112-37. But if Jamal Murray is hurt, I would take the Timberwolves. If Jamal Murray is not playing or anything like that, the Timberwolves will win this game and go to the Western Conference Finals. This has been a great series. Like I said, started off 2-0. Denver goes to Minnesota, wins 2 straight, then comes back home to Denver and wins 1. Loses by 45 in a closeout game. Now they have a chance to re-close it back out in Denver. So, I mean, this is just a great series, man. This is great basketball, great for the NBA. This is going to be a future rivalry that stands for years to come. And if you're Denver, you ask yourselves, is this where we start to upgrade this roster? Because you could look and see like where maybe they want to add somebody or they want to add a guy that averages 23 points a game. Because at this point, this roster has been caught up to. Your roster's been caught up to. The Timberwolves have caught up to your roster. The Lakers will catch up to your roster next year. The Thunder have caught up to your roster a little bit. They're still lacking. But what I'm saying is people are catching on to how to defend and how to play against the Nuggets. The system has been kind of figured out a little bit. So now you have to add different components. Look at what the Golden State Warriors did. The Golden State Warriors won a championship, almost won another one, and then upgraded their roster. You have to upgrade that roster. And listen, if that means packaging up Aaron Gordon, if that means packaging up Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to do it to bring in another superstar? To bring in a big three with Michael Porter Jr.? These are questions that need answers, and those questions are coming up quicker than they're going away. Tomorrow night, Nuggets and T-Wolves, assuming everybody is healthy. I'm taking both home teams, Nuggets and Knicks. And then tonight, I'm taking the home team with Dallas Mavericks and Mr. 13-0 Kyrie Irving. And this is That Guy Jigs Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Appreciate the listen. Subscribe, rate, and review. Please subscribe and make sure you get on over to Instagram and subscribe. That's where I've been putting up the betting props. We've been winning some bread, folks. So go ahead and get you a slice. Once again, this is That Guy Jig. I am him, JIG. Appreciate the listen. Peace.